Hi, Janin. I'm going to concentrate on assignment 3 here. And I like the way that you're coloring things in. It looks as though you're using brushes. Um, it's actually quite a beautiful job, very delicate. Looking at your harmonies, well, a triad has to have colors equally far from each other on the color wheel. That means that the 3 colors need to be spaced about 8 steps apart. The same is true with a tetrad, but actually when I take a closer look here, you're saying that this is split complements. In a split complementary harmony, you have only 3 colors. One color, and then the 2 colors on either side of that first color's complement. So I need you to go back and take a closer look at the harmony definitions in the readings for the week. Now, let's see. Well, this design is coming along quite well. I'm trying to understand what this arc is standing for. Toward the bottom, you seem to be coloring it green. Maybe it's a hill or something like that. If so, use layers or maybe the eraser to cause it to fall back and look as though it's behind. Additionally, I'm wondering if that's a sort of sun at the top, and if it is, maybe you'd like to draw it with an elliptical tool. Depress shift to make a circle with that. Hi, Lauren. Take a look at that lesson that I assembled for you with regard to building shapes or tailoring shapes in Photoshop. I know working in Photoshop can be a bit of a challenge because a lot of the tutorials that you'll find are geared toward using Photoshop with photos. What we're doing with it is actually more akin to what people typically do with Illustrator. I think that with a little ingenuity, you can come up with designs that are going to be stronger than these that you find in the clip art. Of course, it's important that all your art should be original. Hello, Ria. Thanks for posting the new version of your assignment 3 with arrows. Taking a look at things, well, let's see. One matter. In analogous, you are pointing to a yellow-green. However, that color is not actually seen in the design. That's not to say the design is incorrect as analogous. It's just that the colors you're pointing to on the wheel are not the same as the ones that are in the design. That greenish color that we see in the design is actually a sort of shade or tone of yellow. Now, when I look over to split complements, I can't find any in that design, and I also see a little orange in the vertical stripes, so you want to omit orange and include red. Hi, Mary. Let's see, concentrating on assignment 3. Well, your color harmonies look quite good. The only little problem I see is in monochromatic there seems to be some magenta red as well as red. So those are 2 different hues. You want to have just a single hue in monochromatic, and within the color picker field of that hue you can choose any tint, tone, or shade. So wow, you've got a lot going on here. I'm favoring the top 2 examples on left. It seems almost like a tree with some kind of crazy pink sky and planets or stars in that sky. And then when I look to the right, the analogous harmony is suggesting water with water spraying, splashing, bubbles, something along those lines. I'm thinking about what you can do to further this composition. And I notice that you're varying the stroke width on the spirals, and maybe you can juggle that a little more for that asymmetrical balance that you're looking for. Some spirals seem to be a little squished, and others are sort of a round proportion. That's something to play with, something to examine how tightly wound this spiral is, or maybe it's a little more sprung. Hello, Melissa. These harmonies all seem to be quite accurate. There's a Mexican feel to your design. That seemed to be something you're going for. I do favor your top left thumbnail from assignment 2. I like the complexity there, but I think you can understand how for assignment 3, it's easier to work with a single unit of the design to explore those color harmonies. If you like, go ahead and repeat the design in a manner of elaborate for assignment 1 in week 6. Hello, Janine. All your harmonies seem quite right, and I like the way this design works with the different harmonies. One thing, maybe when you're labeling your final project, put the text somewhere outside of the design itself in the margin or something. Now, the only little problem here comes with a triad, and with a triad you want to have the colors equally far from each other on the color wheel. That means there need to be 8 steps between colors. Hi Tanya, taking a look at your assignment 3 here. Well, your analogous design is correct. However, I like to point out that there's cyan in it. So it'd be a good idea to point to cyan on the color wheel. Now, let's see, with a tetrad, you do want to limit yourself to the 4 hues. So where you include cyan in this design and also violet, well, those don't really follow the tetrad harmony. Let's see, split complements. Well, I'm having a hard time seeing how this color wheel and the arrows you've got there correlate with the design. I don't see magenta in the design, and I don't see greens. With monochromatic, I think you'd want to point to a magenta red color. Hi Suzette, you know, your harmonies are looking pretty good. Let's see, with the analogous one, it would be good to point also to green. I think in addition to cyan green, you've got a green in there. And let's see, everything else is looking okay. I favor the monochromatic one. I like brown in place of black, or the omission of the strong black shapes. I'm wondering why you're losing your strokes if you're intending that. It doesn't look like it's entirely in control, and I'd like you to work on that. Also, it's good to give us a name for your color harmony. I think I can sort it out myself, but I'd like to see names on harmonies for the sake of your classmates who may still be learning them. Well, Jamie, I like this design in its digital format. Obviously, it took some time to build. Your color harmonies are pretty good. You know, I think you could be more exact if you start by taking the color picker to the color wheel. Choose the color you want so that you open up the color picker field for just one hue, and then select any tint tone or shade from that field. Now, for example, in split complements, I am seeing a yellow-green, which is not a green you point to on the color wheel, so it's not technically a split complement. Also, in complementary, I think you've got a little cyan blue there, but for the most part, things are correct. Now, let's see. Remember that assignment 1 next week needs to be quite new and different, so I'm interested to see where you're going to take this. And my vote goes to complementary. Well, hi Samantha. I like seeing your different harmonies. However, I'm a little in the dark. I don't know what's what, and I just went to class to see if you said in your post, but I don't see that there either. So I'm going to guess the top right is meant to be monochrome. Now bear in mind that when you do work with a monochrome harmony, you want to have just one hue, which is to say you don't want to mix up yellow green and green cyan, for example. So just choose one hue. In fact, you can pick from the color picker and then fill your design, you know, from any tint tone or shade in that color picker field. Well, it looks like you're going for complementary in the bottom right. However, your blue is looking like it's leaning towards cyan, which doesn't make a good complement on the digital wheel for that slightly orangey yellow. It looks like bottom left is meant to be a triad, RGB, and top left, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're going for there. It looks like it might be split complements, but actually we've got 2 sets of neighboring colors.